Okay, guys, we're moving on to our first panel discussion. Can I please ask everyone who's in Damian's panel to join us on stage? Damian and Tim Molteno and Aidan Casserley and Christie Fourie will all be on stage here with us now. We're going to be talking about something that's quite critical to building a scalable company, and that is creating scalable infrastructure for that company. So specifically looking at how the cloud is changing the way business is done. Damian is going to lead us in a conversation with some entrepreneurs and professionals who are using cloud infrastructure to grow their businesses. Damian, over to you.
All right, thank you, Lo. And I'm so excited to be here tonight. And I've got some very passionate speakers here today. Just a quick introduction. So I'm Damian Baker, the head of cloud accounting at Outsource CFO, and I've got some fantastic speakers here tonight. So I've got Tim, Aidan, and Christie. So I just want to ask each one just to quickly introduce yourself and just explain who you are, what your company does, and let's take it from there. So Tim, I'll ask you to start.
Cool, thanks, Damian. Hope everybody can hear me. First of all, I'm feeling super inspired. Right, because those stories from Yvonne and Gabor were unbelievable. Right, at the same time, I'm feeling suitably guilty because I feel like I gained a lot. I'm not sure that anybody's going to gain nearly as much from me after those two speaking.
Not true.
So I'm Tim. I'm MD of a business called Aidan Baker Investment Administrators. The one thing that did make me feel good was Yvonne said unsexy is cool, and effectively we do the completely unsexy side of investment administration. We do the stuff that nobody wants to do, which might be unsexy, but at least it makes for a good business model because nobody else wants to compete with you.
All right, thank you, Tim. Short and sweet, I like it. Aidan, yourself?
Hi, Damian, and hi, everybody. Thanks very much for inviting me this afternoon. It's a huge pleasure to be here. Tim, whenever I've been on a talk with you, it's been hugely of value. So please don't talk yourself down. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I'm the CEO and founder of Casserley. We're a managed IT services company. We focus on supporting business ICT infrastructure in Cape Town and Johannesburg. I'm not being paid to say this, but we have doubled in size since partnering with OCFO. So I will add that there. Lo, you can put a big smile on your face.
All right, Aidan, thanks for that little sell there. And Christie, my fellow colleague, just a quick intro as to who you are and what you do in the Integrate division.
Thanks so much. Yeah, such a privilege to be on this panel for sure. So I'm Christie Fourie and I'm part of the Integrate team at OCFO. And we are a cloud app integration specialist, and we create automated financial and operational environments for our clients to drive their efficiency within their organization.
Fantastic, Christie. So guys, we want to chat a little bit about infrastructure and how it affects the companies and how it is critically important to have a proper setup in your organization to scale it and grow it and have efficiencies. So Tim, from the financial institution, your initial startup when you started your operations, was it conducive to an effective work environment on your operations?
So I suppose the important thing to understand about our business is, one, we're quite young, and so we haven't been around for a long time. We've been operational for 3 years, right? When we started out, there was a period of time when basically our accounts were dormant. We had lots of expenses, but no revenue coming in, and so we didn't put proper structures in place. Things were manual. We didn't have a proper finance function. We didn't have great control. So I suppose I'm explaining a little bit of a horror story and making it dramatic, and I promise you it's far more dramatic than I'm even making it sound. But ultimately the answer is no. It wasn't conducive for us having a great control environment, and it certainly wasn't conducive to be able to scale out.
Tim, I understand that. So that is where most small businesses find themselves initially, that they just run in, they start their business operations, and then that bit of that administration, that internal operations do fall back a little bit, and it causes these internal struggles, and that you as the business owner so focused on getting your internal structures working that you actually lose sight of the main core of your business, and that's to grow it and expand it and get more customers. And Aidan, this is where I want to jump into you. So I know that we've gone through a very tough few months due to COVID and the lockdowns. And I know that you live and breathe cloud infrastructure. So if you can just maybe tell us how in this whole COVID pandemic period, how you as Castle Rock has actually helped clients enable their cloud infrastructure and develop it further for them and help their businesses grow.
Thanks very much, Damian. Yeah, so let's kick off March 2020. We're all sitting in the lounge.
The start.
Yeah, the start of the story, introduction. Our beloved president gets up on the TV, and it's especially for us here in South Africa, you know, our relationship with the state is very different to our European counterparts. It's typically always been at arm's length, and now all of a sudden we've got somebody up on TV addressing the nation, you know, and that's, I think it hadn't really happened since 1994 or something like that. It was, I mean, I recount what had happened, at least from my perspective, is that we were quite fortunate in Castle Rock insofar as the majority of our clients we had already worked on a best practice and moved them. You know, we see ourselves at the edge or quite close to the edge. So the majority of our client base was already making use of public cloud infrastructure. You know, when Google came to be very prevalent in 2010, you know, we started with that, and then Microsoft, you know, launched 365 in 2014, and we got on the bandwagon. They had managed to work out some of the kinks, and it became more prevalent. So the majority of our clients that were making use of public infrastructures, and they had a lot of redundancy, and they were actually able to switch to remote working setup with relative ease. The problem came in where there was the exception. There's always the exception. Pareto's 80-20. You had a group of clients that were not ready to move to the cloud. They had on-premise servers. They for whatever reason, budgetary constraints or latency limitations or whatever the case might be, they weren't ready to make the jump. So, you know, myself, my colleagues were sitting in our lounges. Ramaphosa's up on the TV. All of a sudden, WhatsApp is lighting up a Christmas tree. How soon can you move us to the cloud? How soon can you complete the migration? And so we had to quickly scurry and pull a rabbit out of the hat and make things happen and basically move that 20% of the client base to the cloud in 2 days. And that was good fun. But just to quote Satya Nadella from Microsoft, he actually said during the earnings report last year in April, in parentheses there, we've seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. So that speaks to the speed at which everything was occurring last year. I'm quite comfortable and quite happy now that things have sort of tapered out somewhat.
Aidan, I can agree fully, and it has caused massive change in the market, and people's minds have shifted towards this whole thing about remote working and let's digitize our information. Let's work in the cloud for protecting our data and our own operations. So, Christie, I know that you also faced a lot of these challenges as well during COVID. And from your experience, how has this cloud infrastructure changed your approach to our clients, and how have you helped our clients in the last few months now during COVID as well to upscale the infrastructure?
Well, I think it's very important to touch on the process that we take at Integrate, because I think it's critical in really assuring that success. Because I think people have this idea like, okay, we're going to the cloud, it'll be our one size fits all solution. It's going to solve all of our big problems. But the reality is that a poorly designed system, whether it's in the cloud or not, is going to fail you as a business owner. So the way that Integrate really works is we spend quite a bit of time in assessing the client's needs. So we perform a gap analysis, and then we work very closely in implementation to refine those key success factors for our clients. And then important is whatever we recommend, we are always looking at integrating. So we're not recommending systems that sit in silos from one another. We really feel that if you are going to be going to cloud, you need to benefit one of the main key factors, which is that beautiful flow of data between all of your different systems that you've implemented. And because of that, we really try to create a robust solution to whatever the client's needs are at that point, but also to looking towards the future. So that's a quick summary. I have some case studies, but I'm very aware of time.
Christie, I think that is perfect. Tim, I just want to check in with you now regarding the whole adoption to the cloud infrastructure. How has your internal operations changed and your processes changed since you adopted cloud technology through the assistance of Outsource CFO?
So I think it's important to take the backdrop of that really dire situation, very manual, not particularly scalable, and maybe to give our finance person credit, it's important to ensure that when you don't know, that you go to the people who do know, right? And so what we do in partnering with outsource CFO was we got really great guidance of what the appropriate architecture could be for us. Right, and that wasn't sort of a hard sell. I was just saying, well, this is what we think is appropriate, just like what Christie's mentioning there, and it made complete sense to us because, first of all, from a cost perspective, and then also from a scalability perspective, because of the work that was then done in the infrastructure that we now have. That finance team, although similar to Aidan, we've basically doubled in revenue. Our finance team has stayed exactly at the same, right? All of
Incredible.
One person, which is phenomenal. And I think there are a few things in that enabled it. One, going to the right people, two, making the right decisions, so having the right guidance, right? Then all of those months of chaos or manual work, I suppose, outsource CFO then had the skill to help us catch up with that and get the record keeping done. And maybe so our head of finance wants me to always share the story, and she goes, in November 2018. Right, the outsourced CFO team processed and reconciled 10 months of transactions, right, over a period of 1 to 2 months, and then we were audit ready by Jan, right, which is a phenomenal feat, right, and something that we'll always be grateful of. And I suppose that describes the journey, just in terms of being helped, in terms of guidance, the journey in terms of being able to get it done and to execute on it, right? And then because of the help that was supplemented alongside, we've been able to be incredibly scalable. And again, that double revenue growth, we're a business for 80 people, so we're not tiny, we're not huge, but we're not tiny. And to be able to run that with one finance person is sensational, and really a testament to the architecture and the software that we're using.
Thank you so much, Tim. Yeah, we're running out of time here a little bit. So just the last thoughts from Aidan, Tim, and Christie. Cloud adoption, a yay or nay? So Aidan.
Well, I have to be a proponent of cloud adoption. It's a big
business.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cornerstone of our business. I would expand on sort of which cloud. You know, if you were looking at running an enterprise proprietary application, then you could look at or if you had privacy concerns, you could look at a bespoke private cloud, and we offer that as Casserley. If you're running a business 20, 30, 40, 50, up to 100 plus users, and you're looking to consume sort of your typical productivity software, enterprise email, and move your data stores to an accessible, reliable cloud, then something like Microsoft 365, which essentially is public cloud, could serve you quite well. I think the cons around on-premise should be quite clear. Requires maintenance, becomes deprecated quite quickly. The speed at which tech moves, downtime is expensive. Especially now we're essentially in the fourth industrial revolution, and the majority of our economy and the global economy is service-based. So downtime is very, very expensive. You can't afford for your people not to be connected, for them to have access to your business applications and key platforms.
But Aidan, thank you so much. Guys, our time has come to an end. I want to say thank you so much for your insightful discussions that we've had. And Lo, I'll hand over to you. Thanks.